So this session video I'm going to talk to you about is when our center back has the ball, and as you can tell, we're in our half of the grid. Okay, let me just go over some key things. One, the goalie has to be a field player, right? Because if my 4-5 gets the ball, right, and let's say she is being heavily pressed, there's always that option to go here too. Okay, so that's really important for my goalie to stay engaged and activated. All right. So I put the other team in a formation of a 3-2-3 because that's typically what we will see. If you've noticed the outside wingers for the other team, I have them pushed up and in. There are a lot of teams that will do that. They will invert the triangle, so it's not like this, it's not like this, it's not like this, but they'll really invert it like this. Okay. And that basically the tactic there is they're trying to, if you look where all the red players are, really it's through the middle. Okay, so they're trying to compact us and to win the ball back. So there's a couple things that I want to talk to you about here. My 6 and my 8 are very important at this point in the game and where we are on the field. My 6 is highly important because one of my defensive players has the ball, and so when my defensive players has the ball, my 6 is really needs to become activated. I want to talk to you about a couple things. I want to talk to you about lines, the number of lines that we have in our offensive line. If you've noticed my positioning, my 4 is here with the ball, my 2 is out wide. They're not necessarily back on this line, back on the line here, but maybe a little bit in front, right, of her. And my 3 is in the same situation, right? Not back here, not square to her, but maybe just a little bit in front, right? Okay. If you notice, my 6 is here, my 8 is here. They're on opposites, right? So they can't be like this, right? They have to be opposite like this. And for the most part, I would like them, they have to be opposite here as well, okay? Opposite and opposite, that's really important. My 7 and my 11 are pushed out high and wide as well. And then my 9 is always on the last defender. The last defender is here. That keeps us, that helps with our depth, right? If my 9 came here, okay, my 7 here, and my 3 here, we just shrunk our playing field, right? Because my 9 being this middle striker is basically our last line for us. So she's got to go on the offense. So she's always got to stay right behind or in front of the last defender to try to stretch us out as much as possible, okay? And my 7 and my 11 are going to come up here a little bit higher, okay? I want to show you something. So if you look at this line, that's one line, okay? We have another line here, offensive line, and that's with my 6, right? My 6 kind of covers this line here, right? Has this line. My 8 and my 11 and 7 are on another line. And then my 9 is on another line. So if you talk about lines of offense, that's 4 lines. And that's really important, okay? When we have 4 lines, it provides better offensive opportunities. That's what it does, okay? It allows us to make penetrating passes past their defense. What's really important for my center mids, please pay attention. These seams, okay, are where this is going to be your magic pockets, if you want to call them that. Okay, so Hannah on this side, so because the ball is on her right side here, okay, this is kind of your magic seam area right here. All this right here. Okay. And then on the opposite side, it's going to be all this right here. That's the area where you're going to want to play in. You're not going to really want to play so much through here. That's kind of a dead zone, okay? We want to be either here on this side of the field or here on this side of the field. Not so much here through the middle, okay? These are where you're going to find your seams. Same with you, Liv. It's the same thing. Okay, this is where you're going to find your seams when you play from here to here. And up here, same thing when you're up in the offensive area. Okay, let's roll through a couple things. So, center back has the ball. Center back has options. Of course, our target is always Liv. So, what I'm always going to say to you is, if we can get it to Liv, get it to Liv. She is our target. We want to get the ball to her, okay? So, does that mean we force it? No, we don't. But that's our objective, to get the ball to her. So that means we have to work it out and find her, all right? So Emerson and Lorna is going to be here. How do you know Emerson and Lauren where to go? Well, you have options. If this 7-11 are playing wide, okay, you need to see that. You need to scan the field and know that. So my 6 then should see an opportunity here. Now Hannah, it's really important. You don't come here and get in line with the defensive line here. Because if you think about it, if she passes you the ball, did you beat any defensive line? No, you didn't. Okay? So, don't overrun your run here. Find the pocket in between this line and this line. Alright? So if you want to start out here, that's fine. But if you want to run into this pocket, that's where you need to be. Okay? So then she can pass to you here. And as soon as that pass happens, my number 2, my number 7, and Liv, you can start to get engaged as well, and my number 9. Okay? So here, right, so then she might get some pressure here, maybe here, but then my 2 and my 7 have to move. My center back needs to move here. So after my center back gives this ball, she can't stay there. She has to be engaged. Where should she move? Well, here into this space, right? So if she needs to quickly drop it back so we can get it back out again, that's fine. And that's a great play, by the way. Here, pass it back here, look for the line here. Okay. So she's got the ball. Liv, you have this open space. This is timing. You don't want to take in that space yet, okay? You have to wait to see a forward pass, because right now most likely Hannah's got it back to the goal, to the way we want to go. But my 2 can see space here. Now, if my 2 runs into this like this, she's closed out space. But if my 2 makes her run like this, more closely to the line, Hannah can get you the ball here. All right, and that's going to be Alexis and RJ. Now, my number 7 at that point kind of shuffles and opens up like this, okay? Don't stand here. Be engaged and shuffle and open up this way, because if you stand here, right, you're closing. We can stretch this out, this passing option. Meanwhile, Liv, this is where you should see this moment come in here, right? Meanwhile, Hannah, right, you're kind of watching to see if you need to cut back into that space again, okay? So now we've made a penetrating pass here. We've made a penetrating pass. If we can get it up higher like this, we've beaten this line, this defensive line now, right? Okay, the next is this last line that they have. So we can do a nice down the line ball right here for 7, okay? Or if this 3 really cuts over like this, Liv, this is where you can come in. Or even, because remember, we're trying to get it to Liv, right? And if you notice who has the ball right now, it's the 7. So if my 7 has the ball, Liv, remember, you're, for the most part, in charge of 1, 2, 3 players, right? That's you. So if my 7 has the ball, okay, then you might need to drop in here like this. Now if that happens, Hannah, remember I said I don't want you guys both on the same line. So where could you go to create space again, to create triangles? Well, you can move into this space down here like this. Opposite. Don't come on the same plane here. Okay? Opposite and back like that. So as soon as Liv gets the ball here, Liv, you have the ball here. Okay? Now look at this. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2. We have numbers up and we're going to goal. Okay? So this is a 3v2 situation. All right? If Liv gets in trouble here, Hannah, this is where you become an option here. If my number 9 decides to pull over like this, Liv, this is where you should see this hole wide open. This is where my 11 and my 3 have to get engaged. And I said that from the last video. If my 8 has the ball, my 11, the weak side player, this is ball side, weak side player has got to stay patient and engaged, because if she's not paying attention, she's back here, well, Liv is going to get you that ball here and you've missed your opportunity. Okay? If you're over anxious and you overrun it and she didn't play you the ball yet, you're going to be offsides. So it's a matter of timing. Okay? So Liv is going to switch that ball down this line here, and then you're in here. Right? My number 3, of course, is coming in behind and staying engaged now, because my 11 is going to get the ball and my number 3 is going to have to get engaged. My 9, my 7, and my 8 are going to have to still stay engaged. Okay. 4 gets the ball here. Lauren Emerson, if they're cutting in, okay, and this is for something that you have to, this is scanning the field. If they are in like this, all right, can Hannah necessarily find space into here? She might be able to, but it's going to be tight. Okay, so notice that, right? So again, you don't necessarily want to be in the same line with them, right? If we can, try to find in between space, right? Between their defensive line and their center mids, Hannah. That's going to be really, really important. Finding that space in between, those seams, all right? So, Lauren Emerson, if the number is 7 or 11, so it could even be like this, you should know to play it here, right? It could be like this. You should know to play it here. It could be like this. You should know that you can go here or here. That would be the best option. Not necessarily to Hannah at this point, because she's got potentially 5 players around her, right? I just want to take note here. This is why we have to stay engaged at all times. Doesn't matter what player you are really on the field. You have 7 and 11. Could you potentially, if she was way out here and Hannah was here, could you potentially 7 or 11 come back just a little bit and see this line right here? Yes, yes you can. Okay. So you need, my 7 or my 11 needs to stay engaged, because if Emerson or Hannah or Lauren brings it out this way, and my 7's really tucked in and out of position, and my 2, let's say, is up here, you need to see, hey, maybe I can drop back a couple steps here and open up. See, here's the defender here, so you can't be on the same line as the defender. You got to drop back and see this passing lane here, right? And that's a great pass, because when that pass happens, look at how many lines of defense we beat. We penetrate this line, we penetrate this line, look at that. And now we have 1, 2 lines left to beat, okay? All right, so in this situation that I have, where should Lauren or Emerson go? Pause the video and tell me where you think we're going to go with this. If you said to number 3, you are correct. Here. Okay, number 3 goes here. Pause the video and tell me where the 11 should move, the 4 and 5 should move, the 8 and 6 should move, and the 9 should move. If you said the 11 should come back and open up wide here, you are correct. If you said the 4 and 5 should drop back this way, you are correct as another support option. If you said that Hannah can move, now these all players are going to move. They're not going to just stand still. If you said Hannah should move into this space here, you are correct. Okay? No, she's not going to be on the same line. She's going to find that space in between this line and this line here. Okay. Now, 8, yep, and the 8, Liv, you're going to get out and you're going to come out this way. Where should my number 9 go? If you said cut over to ball side, you are correct. And most likely this center back is going to be there as well. Okay. Where should we go from here? There are 2 options that I see. If you said to Hannah, you are correct. Here, you are correct. if you said to my number 11, what should happen at this point? At this point, my 11 is part of the offensive half of our team. So that means, Liv, you need to find some space now so that we can get the ball to you, right? Or my number 9, and this is where Hannah checks out. Liv gets in, all right? And finding that space, those seams in between. There's a couple things that can happen. If she commits here, we have a couple things we can do. Down the line pass onto my number 9. Okay. We could do, as Liv is coming in and finding this seam here, we could do give and go. We can do, Liv found this seam here, she can go down here for my number 9. Okay, maybe she takes a touch, has a nice touch, brings it this way. All of a sudden, who should be activated? If my number 8 has a ball, this is ball side, who should be activated? 7 and 2, right? They need to be wide and up. And my 2 does not hang on the line. My 2 kind of scooches in just a little bit like that, so that we can, if we want to, pass the ball, if we need to, right? Let's say all the lines are cut off for Liv, right? She has nowhere to place the ball in front into space, not for my 7, okay? Then you find the 2. Yep, okay? So now, my number 3 is engaged here. This is a great ball through the middle with an oncoming run here from the number 7, all right? All right, there's your short video, and replay it if you need to, and I will be seeing you shortly.